Have you ever had a near-death experience? Or perhaps someone you know may have had a near-death experience? Well, if so, we would love to hear your story and have you as a guest on our podcast. For more information, visit NDE.world. Again, that's NDE.world. We would love to hear your story.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome back to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and my lovely hostess, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne.
Hello, Ashton. How are you today?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How are you today?
Fantabuloso.
Fantabuloso.
That's good to hear. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
It's always good to see you upright and bushy-tailed, and that because you are normally like that. So I love to actually see it in your energy.
That's what I love about you too, Daphne, to be honest with you. And people don't understand it's actually a choice. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
For the most part. I mean, it has to do with how you live, the choices you make, and things like that. All things are connected from our thought processes to the things we do, our decisions, the things we read, the things we eat, the things we take in from other people, the things we watch on TV or videos. I mean, everything is influencing us. So my first recommendation is really just be careful what goes in. There's an old saying that I grew up with called GIGO. G-I-G-O, yeah. Garbage in, garbage out. So just be careful what goes into the machine. It's like a computer. You put a lot of garbage in it, it's probably going to break down quicker, So just be careful. But other than that, I love life. I love people. And I love teaching and sharing things with others. I think that's why I get so excited, when we do these podcasts.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've always appreciated about you, is just your love for helping and teaching others.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Well, for those of you who are new, welcome to the show. And those who are returning, welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Hey,
and then
welcome.
In case you didn't know, you can get more information about who we are and what we do over at our website. That is NDE.world. Okay. So today I had something I was kind of thinking about earlier, Daphne. I just want to run something by you. It seems to me, since I've been studying these NDEs, that one of the biggest issues that I personally see with the NDEs, and I'm only referencing this from several Facebook groups. So, was you going to comment on something real quick before we jump into this?
I was just going to say, just as part of your experience, so the listeners know, you have not had an NDE, but in your experience of learning and reviewing.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit of clarification there. That you have not had an NDE, but after reviewing as many as we have and being part of groups online that share their experiences and comment and interacting with them, that's where you get your experience from.
That's a better way of setting the stage. Thank you, Daphne. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yes, and she's right. Yeah, I have not personally had any near-death experiences myself, but it is, like Daphne said, from studying it for quite a while now. And just being into this, spiritual things all of my life. So this is my element, and Daphne's as well. So we're at home here, with this, and
yes, I love doing it.
Love sharing it with you guys and getting these nuggets and all, So
yes, it has totally transformed my life. I mean, it really has, and I've not even had an NDE. So imagine the turnaround for these people who have been through these experiences. How life-changing it truly is.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's wild. So, which really kind of ties in with the issue with it all. Okay, so let's say we have from our experience of studying and researching. Let me clarify that.
There you go.
All of these near-death experiences, and for like I said, quite a while now, and there's so many. We're talking about tens of thousands. I'm sure that there's probably even hundreds of thousands by now. The last I've heard. And it was a little while back. I forgot who said it and where it came from, but the number was over 65,000, cases of reports and, documented cases
per
and stuff.
year, wasn't it?
As of date, I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
As far as the studies that having started really, because it's really people really starting to. I mean, they've been studying it for quite a few years now. Back, I want to say, the 70s, I think.
It's become very popular, and I think the reason it has become so popular is simply because people are looking for truth and to not be in fear about what happens after we pass. And these NDEs explain that. They break this down for us, and they get rid of that fear that we have or have had about the afterlife. And I think that's why it's become so popular and in the forefront of the media, because it does shed light on things. There is truth and unity running through these, where, as coming from a religion, I know there's those out there that are in religion and believe in all that, and that is perfectly fine, because all paths lead to the Creator. But for me, in my walk, this is this thread of truth that I've been looking for.
Absolutely, and to go with that thought, you're really kind of leading up to the topic at hand here, which was perfect. I like how you did that. And keep in mind, like we said, that the near-death experiences all have elements that are in sync. They have commonalities. They have those, the actual out-of-body experience, and you've got your live reviews, you've got your meeting your others on the other side, you got your bright lights, you've got your tunnel, although they're all different, okay?
Right.
They are all different. However, they all have commonalities. Some have more than others. From what I understand, according to Dr. Moody, none ever had all, okay? But all have at least one of these elements, and they average on about a half a dozen of these elements on the average, but I think there's up like 30-something elements.
Right. And the most in-depth case that Dr. Moody has stated was Dr. Linda Kramer in her experience when she had her NDE.
Oh, yes.
She's got a YouTube channel and website that it's got all kind of information on it.
Definitely go check that out.
Yeah, most definitely.
It's so descriptive. I mean,
it is. It's very
so
descriptive.
Detailed. Her
pictures and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got books out there that I want to get, because hers is the most in depth and everything. So I want to read up on that.
Very good. Very good. Well, you had mentioned a little bit about religion and things like that. So we look around and we see religion, had originated for a purpose of uniting people for a spiritual common ground to be able to worship together, However, this is the year 2023, and religion has done a 360, and it doesn't really hold up to what it's supposed to be doing. So the reality is, a religion,
people are searching for truth. That they're not finding in religion.
In their religions,
and that's not for everybody, because there are those out there that, hey, this is truth. I have my Savior. That is their belief system, and that is perfectly fine.
Correct. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, because it's leading you to the source, the Creator. So yes, go that route.
That's right.
But don't condemn someone else. And we won't. I don't condemn.
No.
Because I've been in religion, I see both sides. I can look at it now and go, oh, that's interesting. That they feel that way, and look at it without judgment.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the key. And I was going to mention, right there before you had mentioned that as long as that religion is taking you to the right place, and you are living the right way.
You're not living a hypocritical life.
Correct. Absolutely. There you go. However, the religion these days, today, has turned into a lot of hypocrisy. I know this firsthand, just from studying and watching and being involved in all this stuff for years, your religion, if you want to use it, religion as your go-to, but, as long as it's, getting you where you got to get in a constructive, more positive, loving way, then by all means take that route.
Right.
If it's not, then you may want to go into a different direction, So.
Oh, yeah.
So speaking of religion, let's tie this together here with what we are saying, or what I think and what I see.
Your issue with NDEs?
No, it's not. It's not my issue, but it's an issue that I see. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's better said.
I don't have an issue with it, but it's just something that I see. And the issue that I do see is that you have these people have these beautiful experiences, like I said, with all these common elements and tons and tons of them. But a lot of times it's usually newcomers. They'll come in and they'll post a question, and then the NDEs will respond. Okay, that's what I see a lot of. So
Yeah, I've done that a lot myself.
yeah, me as well. So the point is that these NDEs will actually, respond and answer that way. And what I see, the issue with all of this is you've had these NDEs had first-hand experiences. Okay, these are experiencers that have had experiences. Okay,
Right.
you have someone coming in asking questions that they don't really know what they're asking. They want to know. Okay,
Right.
and so these NDEs will respond with a real life experience. That is resonates when I read it. I can tell by their comments that is in harmony. All the
Exactly,
NDEs
right.
comments are in harmony. The biggest issue I see is a lot of times, even though this is an NDE group, a lot of times you'll have people come in and say, well, no, that's not what the Bible says. Or, no, that's not what Jesus says.
Exactly,
Or,
yeah.
I saw one yesterday. Well, the question was about reincarnation, I believe it was. And the comment, well, Jesus didn't teach reincarnation. Well, the truth is Jesus did teach reincarnation. These people
Right.
aren't at a
And-
level of spirituality that I feel that these NDEs are. I feel these NDEs are, they're such beautiful souls, and they've had these wonderful experiences, and it's really changed their lives, and it just radiates from them. And these other people, they've never had these experiences. However,
And they don't know through that NDE that these people are learning of reincarnation, but because of their indoctrination, their belief system,
Yep.
they don't believe this, and because it's not in the Bible. Well, the Bible's been tampered with.
right, we have to understand that. And,
Yeah.
and that goes with any subject, So
Exactly.
I think that's one of the biggest issues that I see, with the NDEers, or the NDE world, or that experience,
The others that have not had NDE and NDE commenting on this and being judgmental and condemnation of the experiencer's experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and see that I'm gonna say this with you saying that, and you may have heard me say this before, Ashton, because when I was in religion, I knew I was on the right path, but I was very, very, very judgmental, and it's this way. There's no other way. You're gonna be condemned if you're not doing it this way. I've been there. I understand that. And you don't realize how judgmental you're being while you're in it until you come out of it. Because looking back, I'm like, my gosh, I'm going to have to judge myself now for judging others. When I was a Jehovah's Witness, if somebody didn't agree with what I was sharing from the Bible, I knocked my feet off, because that's what we were taught to do. Knock the dust from your feet because it's in the Bible. That's being judgmental. I mean, you really have to take a step back and look at the whole picture, because you are being judgmental of what somebody else has done. You have to listen impartially, listen without a judging ear, and let them have their experience. Let them think what they want to think. What does it matter to you?
As long as we're all growing.
Exactly. What does it matter? It's not hurting you in any way.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny that you say that, because I myself have experience with the Jehovah's Witness cult as well, and that was many years ago, by the way.
Oh yeah, me too.
And I remember, to go what your thought a while ago, there's been times where a person didn't agree with the doctrine, and everybody's piled up in the car. Oh, well, that's a goat. That person was a goat. Oh, well, but Satan's got them, or were they going to be destroyed?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, those are all judgmental comments. When that person could have been one of the most beautiful persons in the world. Takes care of their family, is a responsible, loving soul, helps his neighbors, and loves everybody. Now, who are you? I mean, you see where I'm coming from?
Right.
Who are you to come in and judge that?
Yeah, even with the people in Christianity,
Even Christianity.
that are doing the same exact thing. If they don't believe the way you believe, they don't believe in your Savior, well, then they're condemned. That there's so much judgmental attitudes and belief systems out there that it's very sad for me, because I've been there, I've done that. So now I feel liberated, I feel enlightened to not have that heavy load of judgment on my shoulders, that I have to feel like I have to condemn somebody for their actions when I'm not judged.
It's freedom.
I am not judged.
The truth will set you free.
Exactly. And
There
that's
is
the
a
beauty
freedom to
in
it.
these NDEs, is the truth of it, because there's so many saying the same thing.
Well, here's how I look at it, Daphne, and I want to kind of try to just kind of hit some bullet points here, because these are all subjects of their own, okay?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We have to understand the roots of religion. We have to understand the roots of Christianity, where it came from, who started it, how it was influenced, how it was tampered with, what was its purpose.
And a lot of people in religion don't know that.
They don't, but yet they will still go to their grave, like a pit bull holding them by the throat or something. They will not back off. They are so convinced, that
Their belief system.
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely.
And like I said, that is perfect. Let them have their belief systems. I'm not here to judge that.
No, and nobody is. Now, here's what we have to understand, and that, say, for example, the Jesus that, they had turned into God. Simple research, guys. There are several councils from the Catholic Church that, they had gathered together that got, to our modern day Bible. They created everything. The history's there. Even Jesus himself has been created. Okay? The one that you worship, and not the historical guy. Okay? But the simple one right there, the Council of Nicaea, around 325, I want to say.
We've got other episodes on this one, yeah.
Yes, with Constantine. And, what people have to understand, you go back to your councils, okay? For example, the Council of Nicaea, it was basically about the divinity of Christ. That was the council that they took a human being, okay, and turned him into a God, okay? Not a God, but God himself. That is where the Jesus man turned into a God. That is the foundation of that. That's where that started, was formulated, and it kept going, from that, okay? You go down a little bit farther, you start dealing with the church fathers of the Catholic Church. St. Augustine, do the research. St. Augustine was the one who had the biggest influence of hell, okay? It goes back a little bit before that. It precedes it. It's got nothing to do with the Bible, got nothing to do with Jesus, got nothing to do with reality, got nothing to do with God, okay? It is a doctrine, okay, that these guys created, all right? Now, look it up, St. Augustine. Now, here's the thing. Eventually, it came to the point that whoever didn't believe in Jesus was going to go to hell, was going to burn in hell. And then it had become an actual doctrine or a belief system of the Christian, religion. And it is in the Bible, and that's where it had come from. So you have to understand these beliefs that these people have. And that's why I said it's issues. They're quoting issues, they're quoting beliefs of stuff that's been made up, 2,000 years ago, and you're going up against people who have had real life experiences, not one, not two, not three, not 10, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, or maybe even millions in history. Being in the modern so-called internet age, the technology age, we're able to get it out a lot more. People are starting to kind of wake up to a lot of this, so I wouldn't be surprised if these numbers don't start quadrupling over the next few years, because people are becoming more aware of it.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Now, really just keep in mind with everything as far as that goes is, what do we really truly know? Okay? What we know is what we have grown up, sitting in front of a TV, what that TV taught us, okay? What
Schools.
The school, the education system taught us.
Parents.
Books, our parents, our peers, our friends, our family members, who and whatever, our neighbors. Okay?
We really don't even know who we truly
TV,
are
magazines,
anymore.
books, that's right. All of this is really, it has controlled and created what's called the ego.
That's what I was going to say. It's
it's your
story,
ego.
The story of your body.
It's you. It's your life. It's how you relate to yourself. And the secret to all of it is you have to understand that you got to put all that aside and learn how to, put things in balance. A lot of people says you got to get rid of the ego. Well, no, you got to keep things in balance and realize that ego is just something. It's just a persona. It's just something that you put on that you were way bigger, so much more, so much purer than that.
Exactly, yeah. And that's one thing that in myself, coming from religion and the teachings of the different cults that I've been in, I had to take a step back. I really did. And who am I? Who am I really? And really just start questioning it, and well, I'm this, and well, no, you're not that. And just really go down a checklist, ask yourself questions, and learn who you truly are, because you're more than this physical body. You're more than the avatar, the flesh suit, your story that you think is you.
Right.
Because you are not only human, you are spirit and a soul and human. So you are all free. So you have to really take that step back and really start questioning and learn who you truly are. And that's one thing I have done with learning about these NDEs. I went through that process and letting that ego go. And it's so enlightening to let go of the ego, to where you're not judging others all the time. You're not, if somebody's talking to you, you're not judging what they're saying in your head or making it personal that you have to get upset or mad or any kind of negative feeling. Just let them speak what they have to speak and not be judging them. And that there is enlightenment in that. There's liberation in that, where when you can do that.
Right. And one thing to consider is, judgment is just it's just a part of what the ego does. It's got nothing to do with the ego.
Yeah.
You can quit judging and still have ego. Ego is something that takes most of a person's life to actually get a hold of. And from my experience, it's people who have been practicing these types of styles and mindsets and mind control and things like that, sometimes 40, 50, 60 plus years, and these are what they call masters. They really get a hold of what we call the ego.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, it's going to be a work for all of us in one way or another, because we all are human. We all are heavily influenced with our ego and what we think is reality and who we think we really are. And that's what I call the grand illusion. Mm-hmm. And you hit right on it earlier, and I can't help but to think of Mr. Wayne Dyer, who are you? And
right.
One of my favorite questions is, and I'll ask you this, Daphne, you can comment, but I'll also send it out to the actual listeners as well. Okay. Have you ever talked to yourself?
Of course, yeah.
You have. Well, most people do. It's a pretty common thing. People talk to themselves all throughout the day. Okay. Well, my question is when you talk to yourself, okay, two questions. Number one, who are you talking to? Okay. And number two, who's doing the talking? All right.
Right. Yeah.
So that's one of my little, get you kind of thinking kind of questions that I like to ask as well. So we have to really think about that. I don't have an answer for it. My idea is, it's your spirit communicating with your brain or your whatever. I don't know. There's some kind of communication, or
your soul.
Yeah.
You're talking to your soul.
It's definitely your spirit communication.
Your higher self.
To that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking it is. It's some kind of connection to that. It's definitely some kind of connection. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But I would think it's definitely that, because you're carrying a conversation with yourself. It's all going on inside the head. Well, is it going on inside the head, or is it really happening somewhere else on a different level, different plane?
Yeah, we really have to change the way we think, our thought patterns, our speech, because we think that it's just words and just thoughts, but it's not. It's actual living things that are at work in this reality that we know.
Words are alive.
Exactly. But I had a little thought while you was saying that a while ago is, about talking to yourself. I always heard, you're all right as long as if you're talking to yourself, you don't answer yourself. Well, I've been doing that for years, because they say when you answer yourself, you're crazy. And it's like, nah, well, I don't know about that, but I do.
Daphne, go
I do
ahead and
answer
admit
my
it.
own questions.
You just have
sometimes.
full-blown conversations. Go ahead and put it out.
I do. I really do. I mean, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Most people do, actually. Don't be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, carry on that conversation. Don't let nobody else, let anyone else's opinions or thoughts stop you from being who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, who are you?
I don't know. No, I do.
Remember
I'm
the
learning
song
who I am.
There was the song, who was it? Actually, they were called The Who. Remember, there was a song in the 70s, I think, Who Are You? Who? Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if 70s, 80s or something, but it was a really catchy tune. I like that
I
tune.
remember that,
I want
yeah.
to say it was The Who.
We're giving away our age with this. There's people out there listening.
But that
going,
was
"What
somebody
the
told me.
heck?"
I just heard, somebody just told me that.
Yeah, somebody told us about
told me
that
that a
song.
long time ago. Yeah, I never. Yeah, so. But anyway, back to the issue, okay? I guess in a sense, it's not so much an issue with the actual NDE itself.
No, right.
It's the issue that we see when these people are trying to share their experiences, okay? Trying to share their beautiful stories, and these are coming from the soul, the heart. And from what I understand, like I said, I've never had one, but all these experiences, they say that once you have these, it's ingrained.
It never changes.
They remember this thing down to the specific details ever since the day it happened.
Yes, exactly. That is that thread that runs through it, that truth, because that's one of those things that does not change. The unity in all of them is that right there that you just said, that everybody remembers fine detail of their experience their whole life. So it doesn't change. They don't lose sight of anything. Like our memories, they fade. I mean, I can't remember sometimes what I walk into a room to get, So
I go through that daily, by the way.
yeah, I do too. I walk in the room to get something. What did I come in here for?
Me too.
Turn around and walk out. Oh yeah, I remember now, and walk right back in and get it. So yeah, that's awesome that these experiences, their memories never change of it.
Yeah, and to go with that thought, think about that. Daily. I wouldn't say daily. I was just kind of teasing, but I do experience that sometimes. You go to get something, and I get distracted, get to talking, get to do something else, and then I'm like, what was I supposed to go get? Or what was I know I had to go to this other. Did I have to go to this room or the other room, or was that outside? Inside? What
was I doing?
Was it this? What was it? Yeah, I do that.
I do, yeah.
And I think that has to do with just these organisms. The body themselves, the matter. The older we get, the more they eventually start to break down. We can take care of it as much as we can. We can eat properly. We can exercise and work and and do good and live. But it's going to you're going to go out when you go out. But the point is, these kind of things that are taking place. Think about this, Daphne, with our memories and forgetting. I hear something about where you left your ink pen at. Okay. Whereas on the other side, you'll never experience that loss of pure, total, connected to the whole universe kind of memory. I mean, because that's what we get from the other side.
The collective,
people,
yeah.
They're tied into that source, and think about that kind of memory and compare it to we can't even remember.
All-knowing.
Where we left our fork at, or no, we can't even remember where we left our pencil or glasses at. I do that with my glasses a lot. I'll leave it on one part of the house, or it was in the studio, or where did I leave my glasses? I can't read.
Yeah, I'll have them on top of my head sometimes, looking for where's my glasses at? What did I do with my glasses?
Okay, Daphne, you have given it all away.
But I do. I mean, and sometimes I have two pair on doing that. So I get out there sometimes.
Well, when you
So
got
thank
one
you for
pair on
putting up
your
with me.
head and one pair on your head to see, and you're asking like, okay, where's my glasses at?
That's pretty bad.
That's very bad. Looking for your glasses. Well, you mainly get some new glasses so you can see something better, But
Maybe get some stronger ones or something.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's kind of, to kind of wrap things up, I guess. Really, all of you guys out there, if you have a hardcore belief, that's fine. If you have a way to back up that belief, and you have, means of that just being able to transform your life, and by all means, if it makes you a better person, but never judge another soul. Never. We don't have that right. Even within your own Christian faith, your book tells you that. Matthew 7:1. Stop judging that you may not be judged. For that which you are judging, you too shall be judged.
And think about that. That's in the
it's kind of
life review.
paraphrased.
I mean, people looking at scriptures
Put that together.
now Oh my gosh, I look at script, and I still read my Bible,
Yes.
but I don't read it like I used to. But I look for those threads and those commonalities from the NDEers, and they are in the Bible, people. They are in there.
Yes.
You just have to know what you're looking for. Once it resonates and you know it, when you read it, you're going to go, oh, those aha moments, you're going to have them once you start learning about this stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And kind of a recent subject that I saw, in fact, just yesterday. It was on the subject of reincarnation, and of course you got to understand these people that are coming into these groups, they're new, they don't really know, and they're asking questions. You see,
Right.
Well, from my experience, like I said, the issue that I saw, these people coming in and saying, well, Jesus didn't teach. That's not what the Bible says. Now, from my personal experience, yes, when you look into the original historical person that a lot of this, the scriptures were taken from. Look, say for example, the Gospel of the Nazarenes, which we did a whole episode on that, I believe.
And some of the things we touched on today are in that episode.
Yeah.
So, about religion and stuff. So definitely go back and find those episodes and listen to them if you want to know more about that.
True, absolutely. So he did teach reincarnation.
He did, yes.
Jesus did teach it. And even the early church taught it for the first few hundred years. And the whole world, taught some form of recreation, or, the Bible calls it resurrection, born again. There's a lot of different terms. When you understand that that's the same as reincarnation, that Jesus did teach that. However,
and
it
the
was
resurrection, but
the resurrection. These are all they're all tied into the reincarnation.
Exactly.
And I can recall some NDEs where they said they've actually met Jesus, and they asked him personally. They said that, hey, is reincarnation real? He said, yes, it's real, but it's not what you think.
Exactly.
So reincarnation, that's a whole different subject, and I think we've got some podcasts on that. If not,
I think we've
we'll
touched
definitely
on a
throw
lot of
some of those out there
different
as well. Yeah. Just be careful, guys. If you don't really know your roots, if you don't really know much about what you believe, then I would be careful taking your bulldog stance approach when you're coming into these groups. Because from my own energy, my own spirit, I'm very tuned in to discerning other people's spirits. I mean, you can even discern spirits through people's text. I read these comments, and I can see, or I can sense the peace coming from these near-death experiencers. And I can sense that religious, dogmatic indoctrination, bulldog kind of approach. Well, no, this is how it is, kind of more of a condemnation approach, So anyway, I don't know.
And and that's something that what you're saying right there is you are in touch with your intuition, your own psychic abilities, and we've covered this before. I mean, I can look at pictures now and get senses about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have this within us. Some of us just don't listen to it. A lot of people call it their gut instinct.
Yeah.
We all have that ability, and that's the beauty in this. Some people just don't use it.
Very well said. Very well said. I like the way you put that, Daphne. Thank you. And on that note, I guess looking at the clock, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. But this was really nice.
Man.
So that's really the issue that I see with the the world of NDE experiences and things like that.
Yeah, it is the dogmatic approach to things.
Yeah, the opposition.
Right.
These
But you're going to have that in this dualistic world.
Absolutely. And these experiences are beautiful. And they're getting bashed, or people getting defensive and coming in and defending stuff that's never had an experience.
Right, yeah.
All they have is what's been taught to them, like we said. And who are you? Well, all you are is what you've been taught. You've been programmed either through TV, through books, the magazine, growing up, education, family, parents, schooling, preachers, teachers.
There's unity and beauty in the NDEs where you just let things go when people come at you from a different perspective. It's like, okay, that's what they believe. And that brings unity to the universe, to our humanity.
Right.
There is enlightenment in that. And that's the way we all need to be, is just let go of the judgmental attitudes, let go of the dogma.
Love is the secret.
Exactly.
I'm going to leave you with a thought. Okay, when more people learn more about the power of love instead of the love of power,
Yeah.
then and only then will the world change.
Exactly.
We all. This is an individual route, guys. The journey is an individual road. All of us are in this together. So, but it's up to you to do your own walk.
Right, but we're all united, and we just don't all recognize
All
that.
for one and one for all. Don't even know it.
There you go. Beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, we love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in, and may peace be with you all. Until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.